last hour, protesters were seen gathering outside an Immigration and Customs Enforcement processing facility just outside of Chicago. DHS has been conducting its Operation Midway Blitz in that state of Illinois, and federal agents deployed tear gas and non-lethal munitions at that crowd. ICE reportedly taking one of those protesters into custody. Apparently, that person tried to block a van from leaving the facility. Charles, I interviewed the deputy director at ICE, and one of the things she talked about was just the threat against them because of this sort of thing, that they have to take this so much more seriously than they ever have because of the rhetoric on the left that has put them in peril potentially from people who might come out. Because otherwise, I mean, you can protest, but that's their main concern. It's up 1,000% those attacks on ICE officers.
There's this physical intimidation and the demonization and them having to resort to wearing facial covers. It's just really, it's so hard to believe. And Chicago, of all places, think about, just in the last couple of years, what we saw were, waves and waves of illegal immigrants pushing up rents, crowding out schools that already didn't have enough teachers per student, taking resources, where the poorest people in Chicago ended up having more desperate lives. And you're protecting this, you're willing to go and put yourself in harm's way. I mean, they're performing a lawful duty, and to interfere with that is just absolutely mind-boggling in my opinion. And it's just really amazing, and a lot of credit to ICE.
And it's against the law.
For more things, nothing bad has happened yet. And yet these folks are pushing the envelope as far as you can push it.
You know what's so interesting, too? They're changing their landscape of politics there. With Chicago Go Red, we saw that in the last election. It's like they're eating their own, if you will. They're pushing against ICE, but at the same time, they're making more people say, on the Republican side of the aisle, they get this right. We're safer when they're doing their jobs.
I would also say if you look at the people that go out to protest these things, now, I don't know what their life story is. I don't know the shoes that they walk in. But by looking at a lot of the protests that we see, whether it's anti-ICE, anti-law enforcement, pro-Palestine, Queers for Palestine, anti-conservative, anti-Charlie Kirk, they all fit, a certain aesthetic. And it's not the people, to your point, Charles, that are underserved in their communities, that are wondering why illegal immigrants are taking up the entire budget, right, that are taking away their services and their community programs. Those aren't the people that are out there protesting. Those people are at work. Those people are making a living, right? By the looks of a lot of these people, it looks like a lot of younger, college age or older white people, maybe older white people, that's who are showing up to this. And you got to wonder, do you have a stake in this? Because a lot of the people in these communities, they want the worst of the worst to be out of them. And they also don't want their city budget to go to taking care of people who shouldn't be in this country in the first place because they came into it illegally. So a lot of these protesters, I would say, what are you looking to accomplish? And who are you fighting for exactly?
The subplot to all of this is anarchy, really.
Yeah.
And I think there's a really, beneath the surface, a real big rise, because it never goes away. But this sort of anarchy, anti-West, anti-America thing, that's what's driving them. That's what's galvanizing them. But they're going to push the envelope too far, I think.
Emily.
Yeah, and here in New York, at least 11 elected officials were arrested. This coordinated effort, right, to storm the facility. And the whole point is that I see it in the same argument as you talk about, you ask these questions about the protesters. What about the elected officials doing it too? Yes. Who do they serve? What are their intentions and motives? You saw the sign there that we are showing on the left-hand side of your screen where it said, "We refuse to accept a fascist America." Is that what the elected officials are subscribing to also? And yet they deign to pretend to represent their constituents? I think I pray that every single one of those elected officials sends a letter or a notice somehow, whatever, on social media nowadays, to every single one of their constituents. It says, "This is how I spent my day." And then let that constituent decide in the voting poll coming up, is this the best use of my tax dollars? The answer is a resounding no, because every person there protesting or filming it was taking energy and resources away from the brave men and women that are actually there to protect America and making them weaker, and that is unacceptable.
I want to say something about what we're looking at on the screen now. And again, I mentioned I had on the ICE deputy director last hour, and Deputy Director Sheehan had said this is a public facility on the inside for certain spaces. And so what's happening here is that these people had encroached into offices and tried to get into cells where violent illegal immigrant criminals because they're already criminals when they break into this country against our sovereignty laws. But then violent crimes beyond that point where those people were being held. And that's why you see this. And I just, you know, Kayleigh, I look at this, I know about the 1,000% uptick in threats against our ICE agents, you know, from that deputy director. It bothers me to see the type of contact that has to happen because people and lawmakers among them are making decisions to put them, you know, in a physical way with the public. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, and just to be clear, some of the migrants in that ICE facility that you're looking at, all kinds, MS-13 member convicted of criminal possession of a weapon, illegal alien convicted of criminal possession of a gun, drug trafficking, having 2 kg of fentanyl. So these are not great actors in there. And while members of Congress have a statutory authority to go in and see this, these are not members of Congress. Most of these are local officials who do not have that same statutory authority. That picture that you were looking at, those images, you see them sitting around a blanket. Well, that blanket has an inscription on it. It says, New Yorkers against ICE. Okay, Democrats, so we're going to try this again. You tried it in 2018, abolish ICE, and then someone told you all to be quiet. Don't say that because abolishing ICE is deeply unpopular. That was in 2018. What do you think it's like today when Americans are fed up with illegal immigration? This is the side you want to stand on, storming facilities on behalf of criminal illegal immigrants and abolishing ICE? Good luck. You tried it in 2018. Good luck with Act 2.
Yeah, well, they're about to get some help, potentially, if Mom Donnie comes into office.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So New York City, I mean, I hate to be, you know, to kill the joy there. But the fact of the matter is, who can beat them at this point when you look at the numbers? And if that's being embraced, what does the future look like?
It'll be ugly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.